Okay, welcome to this recording. This is Steve Paterini. It's just of January 2007, I guess, and I had collected a recording of Lois Homan, my aunt, when we were out at Linda's wedding in California in August, and I've been trying to get the recording I did on a digital recorder onto a CD so I could share it with the family. Linda also generously loaned me a copy of an interview Uncle Harry, Harry Homan, had given her about his war experiences, and so that'll be one of the tracks on here, and I'm hoping to interview Val and Sandra Paterini, my parents, and it'll just kind of give a neat family history and some background on what it was like when they were growing up, and maybe, through the years as we have legends, we'll have some records that are accurate. The way family stories go, sometimes those get a little bit distorted. Anyway, I apologize for the sound quality on some of these. I'm going to try and keep the levels low, but some of it's going to be difficult just because of the way the initial tracks were recorded. And I'm going to do what I can to make them better. And like I say, hopefully people will be listening to this for some time to come. And the first track should be Lois.
All right, I think we have this thing on. Feel like I'm a reporter here. Now, were you actually born in Chicago, or were you born elsewhere? I don't know that even.
Chicago.
You were born in Chicago?
Yeah.
On the east side?
Yep.
Okay. Where Mom would have grown up, same house?
Probably.
Okay. And what was it like when you were growing up, when you were a little girl? Do you have any memories of being, because Mom didn't come along until you were a teenage girl.
Right. Well, way back then, we had streetcars.
Okay. Cool.
I graduated from high school at 16.
Okay, so you got out early.
And got a job right away. People said, oh, you'll never get a job. I mean, graduating at 16.
Right.
I got a job immediately.
Good for you.
2 jobs.
Okay.
So that was in the loop, and I just started working on the loop.
Okay. And by then, Mom had come along, so Papa and Grandma had another little one.
Yeah.
So did you help out raising my mom, like, when she was a little girl? Or were you, like, babysitting and doing stuff like that as well?
No.
No?
I wasn't really home that much.
Okay. By then, you were out working already?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's about it then.
Now, how did you meet Harry? Did you meet in Chicago, or was it somewhere else?
It had to be in Chicago.
Okay. It would have been before the war.
Before the war. He was in the military.
So he was already a soldier when you met him?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So the uniform probably caught your eye.
Well, not really. There were things in common, and that was
great.
Yeah.
Did you have mutual friends, or do you remember any?
I don't think we had mutual friends. I mean,
Okay.
we went out on a date. I mean, not with one of them.
Uh-huh.
Because they were against. See, I lived on the east side.
Okay.
And in those days, you took the streetcar all the way into the loop.
All right.
And I graduated at 16, and people said, you'll just never find a job at graduating at 16. I went out to one bank. They hired me immediately.
Nice.
And I think there was another one, too, and I didn't take that job. So, I mean, I lucked out. I got 2 job offers.
Nice. And this would have been during the Depression as well.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, started when I worked in the loop for a long time. And
now, how old were you when you married Harry? Do you remember? I could figure it out from family records, but I was just wondering if you remember.
offhand, no, I don't remember.
And then, did you have children before? Well, no, he got shipped overseas. I know that.
Yeah.
And you had Butch first. You had. Okay.
But there again, he wasn't born until I think Harry was overseas or came back or whatever. So,
Okay.
so anyhow.
Now, you spent some time in California while Harry was in the service, wasn't that true? Didn't you live here in some...
He wasn't really stationed out here.
Okay.
I mean, wherever he was stationed, then I would go and we'd find a cheap housing or on not on campus, but
on base.
on
Sure.
base. Yeah. Then when he was shipped overseas, then I would continue to work.
Okay. And then after the war, you came back to Chicago to settle there, or you lived in...
Yeah, I lived in Chicago.
Okay.
So I don't remember when we left Chicago.
Yes. Billy and Betty came along, or Betty and Billy, I guess, in that order.
Yeah.
Then you moved to Lansing. Wasn't that where you used to live?
We lived in Lansing.
Okay. And I remember coming...
There you are.
Waiting for me? Oh,
So, when you...
Steve.
okay. Okay. Are you driving home?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's a little one.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe the big one was the bigger one.
No, that's just Coke.
Oh.
Because I remember your place in Lansing had the basement with the bar stools.
Yeah.
And I remember there was always ice-cold bottles of Coca-Cola, and you had the little bottle opener on the side, which to a 5 or 6-year-old boy was the most fascinating thing, along with all of Uncle Harry's rifles in the glass cases along the...
He had all his glass cases.
Yeah.
With rifles all.
And he had a little workbench down there. That used to be where we'd have all the family gatherings.
Yep.
And Billy's bedroom with all the fluorescent posters. That's what I remember. He had the black light posters and stuff like that. By then, because, geez, you and Betty got married in what?
72.
Was it? Okay, yeah, because I was just a little... I would have been 5 in 72.
Or 72?
Yeah.
Was it? Okay.
67. You know what?
It might have been earlier than that.
was born in 72.
Yeah, I was going to
No, yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, 72,
Yeah,
that just doesn't sound right.
No, Les was born in 72.
I was born in 66, and I'm
Yeah.
8 years older than Les, I think. Or 6 years older than Les. Yeah.
68 we got married.
Okay.
68, 78, 88, 98. That's 30. 2000. 32, 6, 38.
Wow.
38.
That's great.
I think 38 years.
Now, you worked in the John Hancock building, as I recall.
Yep.
And who did you work for? Was that another bank, or was that a...
It was another bank.
Okay. So I remember coming up to your office one time and seeing the view from up there, coming downtown and seeing you there.
I was down there for quite a while.
And where did Harry work? He worked in the city, too?
He worked for Amoco.
Standard Oil?
Standard Oil.
And did he work in the Standard Oil building? Did he ever work in the big high-rise?
He
No.
worked in the plant.
Whiting.
Lighting? Okay. Neat stuff.
When did you and Betty get married?
68.
Yeah, that sounds more like it. And then Lester would have been born in 72, which I was born in 66, and he was the little cousin when I was, 6 or 7. He was my... There's a picture of me looking into the baby carriage with him in it, as in, like what John is now. Little peanut.
So we're in 68. Only 6 years the last time we checked.
you might have to readjust your figures there, yeah.
Listen to who's laughing up there.
72, so that makes Lester's 34 this year then. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because I was trying to figure out, because I'm going to be 40 this
Yeah,
this
when I said
this
72,
Christmas.
I'm thinking, wait a minute. No, Les was born in 72.
All right.
Wow.
And I remember you had a black dog named Dixie.
Yep.
When you used to live in Lansing.
Yep.
I remember that. And I think Billy still lived at home with you at that time.
Did.
I can remember him having a very new driver's license and going driving with my sister and myself and taking us somewhere to a park or something.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, you've been in California, what, 25 years?
At
You
least,
come out here in 80?
probably.
Around 1980, probably?
Somewhere.
So,
Yeah, when I worked for Sports Electro, I had a chance to come out to California. And I said, no, I'm not going to leave my parents.
Yeah.
They stay there, then you guys decide to move to California.
Right?
Yeah, we did.
We could have been there 3 or 4 years ago.
And HR had already been out here.
Yeah.
Before you guys moved out
Yeah.
here. Because he got work out here, I guess.
Well, he was in Washington first or somewhere out east. And then he came out.
He was out on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, when he transferred out here, she's out looking for somebody.
I realized that it's car please.
No, we're not going anywhere with that yet.
There we
No, well, and not only that.
Okay, so in that segment, you could hopefully hear Lois and I having a conversation. You could hear the door opening from the reception of Linda's wedding and the different noise. At one point, I think older Les Hockenberry sits down and joins us and chimes in his 2 cents. And like I say, I was at the wedding, and I think I might have caught Lois a little off guard, but there's still some neat facts on there that I thought we would enjoy. Next is going to be the tape of Harry Homan that was about his war experiences.
Hi, Linda. This is your grandfather.
And it's Friday, April
Friday, April 1990.
19th,
Okay.
1996.
8:03.
In the evening. Interview for Grandpa. Okay. At what age did you find out you were going to war?
'21. I found out the country is at war. And,
So that would be
41.
When the war started.
Yeah.
You didn't really know whether or not you were going until...
Well, you're pretty sure.
Yeah, but you signed up when?
Yeah.
Were you already enlisted in the
No,
Army?
No,
No. Or did you enlist once the war was already in progress?
it was in progress for quite some time, actually.
What were your feelings towards going to the war?
I looked forward to it. I thought it was great. It was a change from an otherwise dull routine, and
You were proud to serve.
well, it was an adventure.
Were you excited to be supporting your country, or did you feel more like you were forced to go?
Well, you felt an obligation. I don't think I fooled myself that I was going to save the country, no. I was involved in supporting our family to a great extent, so I had that aspect. Was wrestling with my personal desires.
Did things such as your family or grandma hold you back? Did they support your going?
They supported anything I wanted to do. But situation affected me, of course.
And you were already dating grandma, right? you were
Yeah,
married.
but he was helped support his family.
family.
you know,
Yeah.
Elaine and Bob.
Because
and
grandma,
Mother.
I'm wondering if she means you or your mom.
Oh, no, my mother, I'm sure that's what they referred to.
Yeah.
I could never think of her as being grandma in that context. She was
Oh.
18.
Or, no, Lynn was asking you this.
Oh, I mean, you,
Yeah.
me using the word
Yeah.
grandma.
Yeah, she's
but-
asking. Okay, where were you stationed?
Well, initially I went to Camp Grant, Illinois, and that's more a reception center. I recall particularly the snow was about chest deep when we arrived there, and I had to open up new sections of the post. And then went from there to Camp Walters, Texas. And the day we arrived, it was 80 degrees. The next day it was 40.
Oh my gosh. What was your title and duty there?
My title was private, and it was a basic training camp, an infantry replacing training center. And that was their function. Every 13
Like a
weeks.
boot camp or something?
Well, they got all these people in there. Every 13 weeks, they'd get another group, and they'd train them to be infantry replacements, and they shipped them out. And they got another batch.
What was a typical day like?
Well, you start out with reveille, which stood out in the snow or the cold, what have you, at 6 a.m. So you were up and dressed before that time, and then that would be followed by breakfast, such as it was. And you went back and made your bunk, dressed things up. We had 40 men per floor, and they're open bay rooms. And each is responsible for the area around his bed. And sanitation is very important, of course. And following that, they had drill call at 8 o'clock, so we had to be ready to take off. So we ate at 6:30 or thereabout, and then we went back, finished up, and took off. And it'd be gone till noon. Recall was the next call that would be at 11:30. You come back, for lunch.
Oh.
Or unless you're out in the field somewhere, they feed in the field. And then drill call again would be 1 o'clock, as I recall, until 4:30. And then they'd go back to the cantonment area. And at 5 o'clock, they'd stand retreat. You had to change clothes, the Class A uniform, and stand retreat. And then following that, you had the evening meal. And after that, you supposedly were free, but you had to clean all the equipment got dirty that day, and you had all the ongoing extra duty guard, KP, all the functions that ran an organization. So I learned to wash dishes and to peel potatoes in 6 cuts.
Oh. Okay, and did you keep certain things like photos and so forth with you to keep you going?
Yes, I had a Foot Locker, and I had photos in there. And at Christmas, she sent me a little Christmas tree. I had that in there. Or did I get that elsewhere? I don't remember. It's a little plastic
Your mother
tree.
and I went and visited you at Camp Grant before you left.
Yeah.
What did we gave you that? I don't
Yeah, I had some photographs and letters, of course.
How long did you participate in the war?
You went in December of 41.
Returned in February of 46, wasn't it?
So I think you got December, you were discharged in February of 46.
Did you ever kill anyone? If so, how did this affect you as a person, and were you injured?
I was a platoon leader at that time, and I had a heavy machine gun platoon consisting of 4 Browning machine guns with a cyclic rate of fire of 250 rounds a minute, and we laid down fire. I hoped to kill lots of them. Actually, I couldn't tell you whether I did or not. I can recall seeing
Where
remnants
were you when this happened? What country were you in?
in the Philippine Islands. And,
Killing the Japanese?
and I can remember firing in their positions, and of course other people were too, and a rifle company take me off to attack. And after laying down a heavy volume of fire, you see remnants of them get up and try to run away. And I don't know if we killed them or not. Everybody was shooting.
Yeah.
Bullets ricocheting all over. But it didn't affect me personally, no. I'd be
It was part of
elated
the
over
war,
that.
huh? They were there.
They weren't people. They weren't people at all. They were targets.
Were you injured?
No, I was never shot or anything like that. I was on the receiving end of artillery fire and our own mainly, and aircraft bombs and that sort of thing. I was injured in the sense I'm sure that's where my deafness began and that sort of thing. I had concussion, and ears are bleeding, nose bleeding, everything. What's an
What
injury?
about your knee? Was that something else? When the shrapnel?
No.
Oh.
No, I was never wounded per se. When I was in the hospital, I had a big sore appear in my hand, and they opened it up finally and took out a sliver from a grenade, which was, it would look like a watch spring. It was nothing. But that's the only penetration in my body that I remember.
But you're in the hospital for hepatitis.
Yeah.
You got the jungle type diseases.
Oh,
Or-
hepatitis.
Oh,
you
I
had
mean, did you get malaria or anything like that? Weren't you out in the
I
Philippines?
think we did, yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew what it was, you know.
No.
Hepatitis, we were
Liver.
ward after ward, shades of yellow, you changed daily.
Yeah. Okay. Did you lose any close friends?
Oh, sure.
Did thoughts of you not returning to America cross your mind?
Of thoughts of not returning, well, in the sense that I didn't expect to get back again, that crossed my mind. But in the sense that I saw a place I'd rather remain, no, that didn't cross my mind. I don't know how it would have been if I'd been in the...
Yeah. I guess she means fearing that
I
you might
think,
die.
that you
Yeah.
would die. and
Because you
not
lost
get
some
back.
friends, and did you
Yeah.
fear for
Well,
yourself?
I'll tell you, nobody was much afraid of being killed. And I was afraid of being mutilated. And I think that was the usual feeling. You didn't want to go home and have your parents turn away from you, discuss or anything like that. Or several of them lost limbs. And you felt that was a lifetime blow.
With all the fighting and deaths, how did you and others keep a positive attitude towards fighting? Just had to do it.
I know. I mean, you're sitting here, and this guy over here is trying to kill you, and you're shooting back and forth. You're going to have a positive attitude. or else you.
It's him or you, right?
That's what I would call a damn fool question.
Oh.
No, I don't mean that for Linda.
No.
but
I guess she means feeling patriotic. that
Yeah,
you should be doing
I'm sure
it
she
still.
does, philosophically.
Okay, do you have any specific events that happened that are a vivid memory to you today?
I have a lot of them. Some of these engagements where you come under fire, I can remember every blade of grass, like a photograph in front of me. Yeah. I guess your senses are just tuned to that.
What thoughts and feelings did you have when you found out you were going home, that the war was over? or
Disbelief.
Who told you? How did you hear about it?
When I heard the war had ended, I was in a big headquarters in Manila. This wasn't in an infantry unit any longer, and they had about 1,200 officers there, and a big supply depot and this sort of thing was going on. And they lived in tents we had wooden floors. And all of a sudden I heard a roar of all the noise when the word came through, and I wondered what was going on. Then all these jokers that never heard a shot fired in anger started firing their weapons, and I was afraid because they were shooting up everything.
Oh.
And I got off my bed and I lay down on the ground next to the tent because I thought, well, by that time you knew what it was, the war had ended. Yeah. So the next big thing is when do you get out of there?
Right.
And then they had a wretched point system. We had to get involved in that.
Did you fear that things would no longer be the way they were back in America when you left?
To some extent, but by and large, I expected things to be pretty much the same you left. Yes.
And who were you coming home to? You had
Well, by that time I had a wife that I hadn't had when I left.
Then you had somebody else.
Yes, that's right. So in that respect, it was a great change.
What was it like when you returned? Had a lot changed?
I mean, the mores of living. It was a drastic change from the way of life I had led previously. I imagine if you were released from prison after a length of time, you'd have the same type of feeling, that,
Felt free, did
yeah,
you?
not the regimentation you had.
Did you feel that you as a person changed? If so, in what way? Physically, mentally, and emotionally?
Yeah, I think I changed in all those respects. Emotionally, I had a greater appreciation of things I hadn't had previously. I had new responsibilities, and I look forward to that. I still have them.
Yep. Number 12. As the years have passed, are there certain things, experiences, or actions and so forth that cause you to be the way you are today? In other words, are there things you did while at war that are still part of your habits?
Yeah, I think a lot of your personal hygiene habits that were ingrained at that time. The sequence of the brushing your teeth and whatnot. And, I don't know. Probably would have been the same had you remained home too. But my personal resolve is about the same. I no longer expect to set the world afire.
Overall, what's your opinion on your overall experience?
Well, I'm grateful for having had it to an extent. I feel personally probably would have been better off not to have had the experience. When I returned and looked around at some of the other people who hadn't gone, who worked themselves into positions, I'm speaking now like economics, job opportunities presented themselves that were never presented again. And when you came back and these people you had worked with, now you could work for, and I felt a vast injustice was done there. I don't know what you could do about it, but I mean, I do feel that. I think it's probably always been that way.
Is there anything else you'd like to add about your experiences that we didn't cover? Would you have wanted your sons to be in the war or go to war and have the same experiences, or are you happy?
If I could guarantee their safety, I would like.
Because I think it's a nice learning experience. It makes them really appreciate and know how to be responsible and stuff.
Well, I think it was a great self-confidence builder. I led a small unit, usually 30 or 40 men, and when any order to come along, something must be done, so you formulate a plan or as part of a larger plan, and then you say, let's implement this plan, and you look and there's 40 pairs of eyes on you. Who's the first one up the hill? Particularly you see that some branches move up there and probably a monkey, but the hair on the back of your neck starts to tingle. And had I had a rifle platoon, you sent out scouts first, but I didn't, so I'd go. They followed me, and the platoon started up with me. I mean, that sort of thing. And that was a confidence builder. I feel like I got away with it this time.
You're a good leader, I'm sure. Okay. So, I guess that's it. What you wanted to know?
The only thing I'd like to add is Highland.
Grandma can say something too, both of you, so that
Now she could probably.
she'll hear that.
She really had some experience.
Why don't you tell a little of your experiences as a wife of a person in the service or gone to war? Were you fearful for Dad? And
Well, of course, you always are, yeah.
yeah.
You're fearful and you wait for the mailman. He was always very good about writing every opportunity. And nobody ever wanted to have an unforeseen knock on the door with somebody holding a Western Union telegram
Did
for
you
you.
fear that every time the doorbell rang? for a
Well,
while?
because it could always be, you didn't want that. But you made the best of it. We had some good times.
You made a lot of friends too.
I mean, you got along on $5 a week. Well, the money was cheaper then. I mean, and then in Virginia, Georgia, and I lived in Alabama, and you made $15 a week, and you paid $9 for your room and board.
Yeah, right. Say that.
So, but it was still worth it to be with him. I mean, the time, because you didn't know what the future held.
That's right. So did you ever feel like crying and saying, "Don't go, don't go"?
No, because everyone was going. I mean, the ones that didn't go were usually 4Fs.
They were
that-
the lice.
Yeah, they were
Flat
4Fs.
feet and afraid
yeah,
and cowards.
yeah. So, but everyone was going. Some men were gone longer. I mean, the ones who went in the beginning and before the war started to Africa, they were gone, 5 and 6 years. So, a year and a half he was gone. We were lucky that way.
And when were you allowed to join him at where he was stationed?
Anytime you had the money to go. You didn't know how long you'd see him, because, well, in basic, this first 13 weeks, that's basic
No,
training.
once you visit.
Oh, you can, but that was in Texas. We lived in
I
Chicago.
had
You
no
had to have
time at
money.
all. I kept
Yeah,
busy
they had-
24
yeah.
hours a day.
And then from there.
There was no provision made for her, nor was there on any of those military posts. There
No,
were
they
no
didn't have
hospital
housing.
facilities
No, they
for
had-
her. When the baby came along, you contracted with a civilian doctor, didn't you?
I think I did go to,
I know that
probably
Captain,
at Benning, I probably did go to the military hospital.
well, Captain Hildreth, I think it was in the 70th Division, and he knew you.
Yeah, but I
Because
went to a
when-
civilian doctor.
When the message came to me that your water had broken, we were just pounding the road. And he was there. I said, "How close is a baby to
When the
being
water
born?"
broke.
He said, "Pretty close."
Oh.
Because they wouldn't let you go for that.
Yeah.
To get it.
They have it really easy now.
As a
How
child,
Oh, yeah, they don't
Never
have
said-
any of the rules that they have
He
now.
said, it's like launching a ship. You have to be there to lay the keel, but you don't have to be there for the thing to be launched. I said, "Yes, sir," and I thought, like hell, you joker. That goes through the wall over it.
Yeah, you were there then, huh? For the
Yeah.
work. That's good.
But we had another guy that was court-martialed, and he was arrested in quarters because he had gone in to see his wife. So I thought, well, here comes another one.
You were too valuable.
No, he didn't get caught.
Oh, well. So would you like to add anything about how you felt? And how were you when
I
you
don't
came
think she's
home?
made
Were
up
you
her
all-
mind yet.
Were you all excited, of course, when
Oh,
you came home
oh,
and it
of
was
course,
done?
yes, we got,
you
I had an
just-
apartment and it furnished in
In
Chicago.
you were back there by then.
Oh, as soon as he went overseas, I lived with my mother, yeah.
She worked the whole
I worked the whole time, so the two grandmas babysat when the other time.
And Sandra helped. She was in
Well,
some
she
of
was
the
still a little
pictures.
girl,
But she
because see, when Harry Robert was born, she was only 6 years old.
That's
So, I
why
mean, they're
I
closer
remember
to-
her. She was just a kid. I
Yeah,
used
she
to
was
see
just-
her playing in the corners.
Yeah, so I said,
She was a little baby, you said.
yeah, she was just a little girl. So,
She's young.
yeah, and then Elaine, and then Bob went to Europe. He was in the service, but he went to Europe, so they never met.
You never saw Bob in the service, except when they came home on leave.
Because he went in, I don't even remember when he came home. Did he get home before you or after?
Well, that
you?
one picture in there, we were both at home at the same time.
But I don't remember. He must have come home after you. Yeah, I
No,
don't
we were
remember.
both in the same one. The one in the bedroom.
No, I'm talking about when you came
Oh,
home.
Okay.
I don't remember
just
if
starting-
Bob
oh,
was
I don't-
home then or not.
Well, he went in a different post. He went into Devon's in
You
Massachusetts.
couldn't stay together, they didn't do
Oh,
it that
no,
way.
no. He was in the,
He was,
they trained him to be a medic, and he was an aide man, and I think a stretcher bearer, all that stuff.
Wow.
but he went in after Dad, and then he went to Europe, so he was in France, and I don't know if he went to Germany. I think we have pictures of him in France, but
I thought by my going, he would remain home.
We went right after you.
They were taking.
I bet Elaine would have gone too if she could have.
Probably
She's,
would have.
very patriotic.
From the beginning, they weren't really taking women. It was
No.
later in the war when they had the
They
wax
took the
and the
nurses
waves.
and things.
The nurses,
Yeah,
right, but I
they
mean the
wouldn't want
waves
the-
and the
yeah.
wax, that came much,
Well, that was this Roosevelt's supporter, Hobby, had a newspaper, and he created that whack for her, Vita Culp Hobby. I still remember her name. She was a colonel or something, you know. Oh, what a waste.
Very good. Say goodbye.
Well, goodbye, Linda. We hope to see you soon.
You want to go tomorrow?
No, if you-
Bye, Linda. I'm concluding the interview now.
All right, that sounded like that was actually Lois chiming in there along with Harry Homan, and sounded like John was in the background kind of helping to orchestrate the whole thing for the family history project that Linda had at one point, I guess. Next, I'm going to try to get a couple of recordings from my parents, Val and Sandra Paterini, and hopefully those will be the next few tracks you hear.